We all have to evolve or we're going to become extinct. If you continue to do business the way you've always done business, you'll get what you've always gotten. And the challenge is that over time, there's increasing competition. There's people that are trying to disrupt and disintermediate the way that you've always done business. And the biggest competition, the biggest threat to anybody's business are the things that, are you're not thinking about. The people outside of your space that are, coming up with a new way or a new thought. I mean, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, there was no Uber. Like, taxi cab drivers had a complete monopoly. They weren't thinking that some application was going to come and blow them out of the water and eliminate it. And for us as business professionals, the challenge is that there's this familiarity with the pain we know, right? And so Freud says you move away from pain and towards pleasure. And oftentimes the pain we know of slow growth or limited opportunity or low profits, like, at least it's familiar pain. At least we've built up a tolerance to it. And so the untenable pain of the unfamiliar is what we avoid. And the reality is you need to move through adversity and you need to move through challenge in order to have unbridled success. And most people don't. They get mired, they get stuck in the familiar stuff. To be a catalyst for your own personal evolution, you gotta have an idea of what you want to achieve and where you want to go. And I think the reason that people don't do it, in addition to the familiar pain and the fear of the uncertainty and the unknown, is also that their success or whatever modicum of success they have is a breeding ground for complacency. That comfort and complacency that comes with a modicum of success is the greatest stunter of personal growth and advancement that you could possibly ever do, right? So here's this guy, he's got this big cab company, maybe he owns the medallions in the area. Why do I need to innovate? Why do I need to introduce technology? And why do I need to go and try and add this piece to my business? I'm already successful, I'm already doing it. And I think that we have to be in love with the growing part as much as we are with the reward. And I think that's the essence of an entrepreneur, right? The essence of the entrepreneur is the build, like the struggle, and the desire to be in the as Roosevelt said, marred by dust and sweat and blood in the arena, as opposed to being on the sideline among those timid souls that never know victory or defeat, or success or defeat. I want to be in the arena. I want to be bloody and messy and like beat up and that's where innovation happens. That's where evolution happens. But I think that as you embark on those first couple of steps, I think there's this certain thing also that I talk about quite often about posture. So you're in this new endeavor. Posture is that air that someone who's really successful, that's already achieved, has about them. It's a way about them. In sales, it's as if they don't care whether or not someone says yes or no. Like, real posture is when you really don't care. Like you walk in, and the only way to get to that, there's two ways that I've found that you can get real posture. One is having $10,000 more than you need, like in your pocket, accessible. Your bills are all paid for, and you got an extra 10 grand. Like, there's a certain swagger you have with that. One of my mentors used to walk around with a billfold in his pocket with $1,000 in it. And I was brand new, I was young in business, and he said you should always have $1,000 on you. And because with $1,000, there's nothing you can't do. Now, this is going back 20 years. So you could buy an airplane ticket, you could pay a bouncer, you could get a limousine anywhere. I mean, we were in a different era. Today you got an Uber, right, that goes right. You don't necessarily need $1,000, but funny enough, I worked to a place where I finally had that $1,000, and he pulled out his billfold and it had $5,000 in it. And so I guess, the level of comfort you have is also related to the lifestyle you keep and how much money. I guess you can't buy a first class ticket for $1,000 to Europe, but this having the money in your pocket is one thing. The second thing is have an unlimited amount of prospects, right? So if you feel if you're operating from a place of abundance instead of a place of scarcity, then you'll have the air about you, whether I don't care if this person says no to me, because the next person is going to say yes, or the next person after that's going to say yes. And so, in sales, it's all about prospecting volume. So whether if you can move to referrals, that's the ideal situation, right? Because there comes a point where you have so many opportunities, you don't have enough time. And for the new person, though, that doesn't have a big thing in referrals, it's just about hustle. It comes down to paying the price and moving through the adversity, moving through the pain until you get to that place where your volume is high, so that you don't have to worry. Your success isn't predicated on one person or on one result. There's a saying, stagnant water stinks. Nobody wants to sell from or buy from somebody who's desperate. Nobody wants to do business with somebody who's desperate, who needs this deal in order to make their rent. And to a certain extent, you have to be able to move through that. And if you don't, your extinction is a foregone conclusion. You're going to be gone. Your business is going to be dead. Check the watch, as I always say. Check the watch and call time of death. It's over.